Brace yourself because things are about to get weird. What I'm about to share with you is either going to make you feel like I am unstable or all the puzzle pieces are finally going to come together. Either way, this will be multiple parts because there's a lot we have to cover. You are timeline jumping, and it's not your first time doing this. It's probably been a lot of different jumps that you've experienced, especially in the last 5 years. But the difference about this jump for you is that this is going to be the last phase of your quantum shift that began a couple of years ago. If you saw my signs of timeline jumping video and you resonated with this is why you're back here. This is why you're seeing this video. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out to see if it resonates with you. Either way, this began a long time ago for you, but everything's finally starting to click into place. So let's get started. This quantum shift was always meant to happen for you because this started in a life that you don't even remember. There was some sort of mission or service work or something that you were doing in another life that got interrupted. You were not able to fulfill or complete whatever it was that you were meant to do because there were opposing forces or some sort of energetic block to what you are supposed to do because of how much it would affect the collective. And so you are here to complete whatever you started in that life. But because of that reason, you are also someone whose energy has been heavily protected because of this divine mission. So, you are someone who may feel like you were often overlooked, hardly ever understood. You would get opportunities that seemed really promising, like this was going to be the thing to put you out there, to start the trajectory, to put your name on the map, and then nothing happens. This was not by mistake, this was by design. You live in a highly intelligent universe. Nothing is by chance, and nothing is random. This was all happening according to the plan. And part of that plan was to hide you in plain sight. You were cloaked because there was some things that needed to happen before you could be revealed to the world with the gifts that you were meant to share, embody, and practice. Now, everything that you carried over from that lifetime was also unknown to you. They were lying dormant within your mind, within your body, within your spirit. Part of the trajectory for you in this lifetime was to awaken all of these different things and get them into alignment so that you could embody them, which meant integration. But before any of that started, you first had to go through a lot of different lessons and experience a lot of karmic people, relationships, and circumstances in order to call back your energy that was trapped in different times and circumstances, which meant you are kind of time traveling. Your body may not have left this physical plane, but your spirit has been doing a lot of work. You may be someone who's also a very vivid dreamer. You've been traveling the astral realm while you sleep to go and claim certain parts of yourself that were trapped in space and time. You are also receiving a lot of guidance, a lot of messages, and reconnecting with other people on your journey who may not be in this realm or density that are also helping you in this way. Now, this is not just about you, this is a collective experience as well, because what we will end up with during the end of this message is how everything is coming together because two parallel realities are colliding to create a third reality that will birth a new world. You may have heard this, but we're going to break it down. So let's go to part two. This is part two of how your divine mission is aligning now that you are entering the final phase of your quantum shift. If you haven't watched part one, please go back and watch, then come back here. Now, as I mentioned in the first video, this has been a long time coming. It started beyond this lifetime. But for the journey of these videos, we're going to look back to 2016 and work our way back here because that's the last 9 year that we experienced. 2025 is also a 9 year, which is a year of endings. It is also the year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac. The snake is representative of knowledge. It is representative of transformation. It is also Kundalini energy, which is your chakras awakening and aligning. It is everything from your root to your crown coming online and coming together. So this is what you're experiencing this year. But in order for all of that to serve the purpose that it was meant to serve, there's a lot of endings that may need to take place in order for you to fully embody the energy that you have been cultivating up until this point. So when 2026 occurs, which is a 1 year, new beginnings, a fresh slate, you are ready and prepared to go full steam ahead. So, as I mentioned, let's go back to 2016. If this message is for you and it's resonating, then 2016 was quite a pivotal year for you. You experienced a lot of endings in that year as well. You may not have been conscious about what was going on, but there were a lot of situations and circumstances that were arising in 2016 to make you aware of your fears, of your limitations, and of your blocks. This is when things started to really turn on. This may have been a pivotal year for you as well when it came to a spiritual awakening. And since 2016, who you were then and who you are now may be vastly different people. But if I'm talking to the right collective here, which I know I am, even last year to this year, different. So from 2016, you know there's been some really major transformations and changes. At the end of 2016, things came to a point, and by the top of 2017, you are entering a completely new cycle. And there were signs of this within your physical life. You may have either quit a job or started a new career. A relationship may have either ended or you began a really pivotal relationship. Either way, there is something about who you were then that started to shift drastically. Again, if you haven't seen my signs of a timeline shift video, chances are those signs, those experiences were happening at the end of 2016 to the top of 2017. That's because you were starting an entirely new cycle. Now, that cycle that started in 2017 up until now was very karmic. This is when you experienced a lot of people, relationships, lessons, experiences that were showing you this is what's in your way. This is what you need to move through so that come 2026, when you enter this new era of you, you are no longer bound by what has been holding you back all along beyond this lifetime. Because again, these karmic experiences are not just about you. They were inherited by your family. It was lineage, inherited, epigenetic trauma, beliefs, assumptions, DNA that you are also working through. If you're new to my videos, you will learn very quickly that I always talk about how the micro and the macro are like this. What you experience out in the world, there is some form of that happening within your personal life and vice versa. And we're going to get into that when we get into the big picture of what's happening right now in the world as well, and how that's related to this journey that you have been on for a long time. So 2017, you began this new cycle. You started to notice the karmic lessons that were revealing themselves to you when it came to your love, your relationships, your intimacy wounds, when it came to abandonment, codependency, when it came to your finances, your relationship with money, your worthiness, when it came to your mindset habits, when it came to your family relationships, your friendships, when it came to your safety within your body. From 2017 up until this point, the amount of healing that you have undergone, some of which may still not even be conscious to you, was astronomical. You are someone who is well aware of the layers of this universe. You have experienced things that you cannot explain. That was on purpose. And again, as I said in part one, you are time traveling, not physically, but spiritually. You are going back to certain places, certain people, certain situations that were putting you in the same energetic frequency so that you could do it differently than how it happened originally. So you could close out whatever door was still open, because that door that was still open had a part of you trapped there, and you had to go back and reclaim. When we talk about reclaiming your power, calling yourself back, it's not just for shits and giggles. It's you aligning with the opportunity to reclaim your energy that was stuck either in a karmic relationship, in a karmic circumstance, uh, a place that a significant event happened, whether it was in another life, another universe, whatever else, so that you could be all at home in one place, integrated and whole, because you needed to be integrated and whole in order to get to the next phase. Let's go to part three. All right, part three, let's get straight into it. If this is the first part that you're seeing, please save this, go back and watch part one and part two so you know what we're talking about. So, ever since 2017, you have been going through a very karmic cycle in order to reclaim the lost parts of yourself that were trapped in space and time, to be able to be wholly here, present so that you could move forward. During this time, you experienced very transformational healing when it came to your mind, body, and spirit. It was a whole experience, not again, the snake, the Kundalini energy rising. You needed to integrate the different aspects of your being. So it wasn't just mindset healing, it was somatic healing. It wasn't just somatic healing, it was spiritual healing, emotional healing. Again, a lot of familial ancestral healing as well. So since 2017, you have been undergoing a lot of healing through different relationships, different lessons, becoming more aware of different habits, different ways of being. 2020 comes, everything shuts down. This was the beginning of your underworld dissension. Everything that was used as a distraction, that was allowing you to remain comfortable in whatever you were in at that time, energetically and otherwise, was no longer available to you. You are placed in solitude for a reason. This is hermit mode energy. You are put in hermit mode so that you had to go within, so that you had to face whatever was lingering in your shadow. That's why shadow work was coming up very prevalent at that time. It was a time to go into your underworld, which is your unconscious mind. This was the time when you had to face the parts of yourself that you were so easily able to repress and deny because you were able to create false narratives that kept it alive. This was no longer the case. And so from 2020, you began your underworld descent in order to face yourself. You are your own final boss. Your shadow is your final boss. And it's not to continue to deny and reject your shadow. This was a very pivotal part of your journey because you needed to integrate your shadow. This is why I always talk about how the narrative about light versus dark, good versus evil, just perpetuates the same unconscious narrative of pitting these two energies against each other, when in actuality, the true goal, because this is what creates true power, is putting them together. It's not about one is better than the other. It is about finding a way to merge. And this is what's happening collectively in the world. What you were experiencing individually was getting to know on a visceral level the polarities within your being. And by knowing the polarities, you then had to find a way to merge them together. And these polarities were representative of the two parallel realities that you have been ping ponging between since 2017. Whether or not you realize it, but if you are good with discerning between subtle energy shifts, and you probably noticed this and maybe you thought you were loony, you have been ping ponging between two parallel realities. The energy may feel slightly different, a little denser than others. Even the weather may feel different. When it comes to linear time, it's not even a thing for you anymore. Time is so fluid at this point that it can be June 16th, 2025, but sometimes you feel like, oh, it's 2017 right now. It's 2021. It feels like 2022. There is something about your energy that, again, is moving through space and time in order to align and integrate so that when you move forward, it is all in the same place. As I said in part one, you have timeline shifted a lot of times because you were meant to. You needed to go into different timelines in order to call yourself back home. And the important part about this specific shift is that everything is about to align. And when everything aligns, this may be your last shift. Not your first, but perhaps your last, because you have been working towards your highest timeline, which isn't about hierarchy. Your highest timeline is all about embodying your full true self. Before you were fragmented, now you are coming together in embodiment. And when you are all whole, this is why the world tries to keep you broken. When you are whole, you are dangerous. You become a threat. Because when you are not missing any parts of yourself, you no longer are easily manipulated, controlled, or dependent on what someone else or something else can give you in hopes of filling that void. That is why in 2020, you were in the void. You began to see where there were holes. And since 2020, you have been moving through time and space and yourself to reclaim everything that needed to be in the void, not the distractions and the convenient things to help fill it up that were never going to withstand time, but the parts of you that were missing so that you could be whole within yourself. Let's go to part 4. This is the fourth and final part of this quantum shift video in your divine mission. Please watch the first 3 videos if this is the first video that came up for you, and save this for once you're ready. Let's talk about the collective mirroring that's happening with your individual journey that you've been on thus far. Clearly, collectively, we are seeing massive shifts. Now, a lot of people are talking about how this was a mistake, this shouldn't be how it is, this is wrong. No, it's not wrong. This is how it was always meant to play out. Because the same way you had to go into your underworld descent to face your shadows and to see what was no longer working on your personal journey so that you could course correct and reclaim the parts of yourself that were broken so that you could finally realize, oh, this isn't going to work anymore. We need to actually heal this and not just keep putting a band-aid and act like it's okay. This is what the world is experiencing right now. And certain leadership in this country specifically, as incorrigible as they may be, are the perfect characters to play this out because they are very polarizing. Unfortunately, had we gone down another route, which I know was the route many of us would have wanted, we still would have been very comfortable with things that needed change in this country because they wouldn't have been in your face. What we are experiencing right now is the collective uprising of everything that we have suppressed on a global level. And because of that, we are also then being given an opportunity to create lasting change by birthing a new experience in this world. Now, that might seem like a huge task and maybe unrealistic to some, but because you are watching this and because you made it to part 4, chances are you've experienced enough things within your personal life that seemed unrealistic that you know better than most now that there is no such thing. That the power you hold is so dangerous because you don't allow your physical constraints or what has always been the case to be the limitation of what is possible. And that's what makes you a threat. So now collectively, because we have each gone through our individual experiences, us coming together in this way is what creates the massive ripple effect of what's going on collectively. And we are seeing it. Whatever we have allowed to continue for centuries is no longer going to be allowed to move forward in this new reality. Now, I mentioned in another part that we have been ping-ponging between 2 parallel universes for quite some time, which were also a reflection, a mirror of the polarity you have been ping-ponging between within yourself. These were your extremes. Now, whether you experienced it palpably within yourself or not, it was still happening. And now you're seeing it in your external world. And what we are experiencing is a collision of these 2 parallel realities, which are going to form a completely new reality because it's not about one overcoming the other. Like I said in the other part about your light versus dark, it's not a competition. It is what is created when these 2 come together in harmony. I'm getting chills. When these 2 come together in harmony, it is no longer this or that, it is this and that, which then creates an entirely new entity. Are you following me? This entirely new entity is something new and of its own. So it's not about one or the other. It is what is created when 2 come together. The same way that when 2 people come together and have a child, that child is their own entity. It is not just the mother. It is not just the father. It is the child, a new identity and entity that is the merger of 2 energies coming together, which is also why you have been healing your inner mother and father to experience the merger of what happens when these 2 come into balance within myself. Who am I when it's no longer this versus that within myself, but coming together in this way? And if you're wondering, the light part is the masculine, the sun. The dark is the feminine, the moon. These are the energy polarities within yourself that you have been coming together into harmony and balance through all of this healing since 2017, especially closing out all these cycles so that come 2026, a 1 year, a new beginning, you are entering it in a place of balance, harmony, and integration and embodiment. Now, again, we can go into so much detail with this, but trust and know that what you are experiencing outside in this world is what happens when two worlds collide. And that's why, again, side note, social media is giving you hints. The same way you have been hidden in plain sight until you are ready to be seen, you are given information hidden in plain sight. Some of these social media trends are actually messages. That Adele trend, which I actually participated in with her song, When Two Worlds Collide, and you were shown your parents and who they created, which is you. You are the new world. Your parents were the polar opposite worlds that you are ping ponging between. And now this is what's happening collectively. They were telling you the whole time, when two worlds collide, what happens? It creates a merger. Same with the triangle, which is the Holy Trinity. When the 2 points merge, they come into 1 point at the top. So it's not three, it's one. 1 + 1 = 1. If you get it, you get it. I know I shared a lot. I feel like my phone is about to poop on me because of the heat. So I'm going to end it here. I feel like I got through everything that needed to come out. I'm sure there will be more, but this is where we're at. So if you resonate with this, trust and know it's already in you. If you feel like your guides have abandoned you, they haven't. They are now in you. It is embodied. So the guidance that you would normally seek outside of yourself, it's inside now. That's why it feels like you can't hear it, because you're so used to listening outside of yourself. It is in you now. You're ready. If you weren't ready, you wouldn't be here at this time and you wouldn't be seeing this video. So trust yourself. Go back to my video in my green robe. I recently posted it. Self-trust is self-love, and even self-love is redundant because you are love. Love is the essence of you. And when you truly love yourself, you trust yourself, because when there is true love, there is trust. You cannot love someone you don't trust. So the trust has to be there. So that self-trust is turning on because you are guiding yourself now, because you have gone through the underworld journey and now back up with all of that profound wisdom that some will never receive because they are not willing to go down that route the way that you did. You are the merger. You are the new world. And when each individual comes together as the collective energy with this template, a physical external new world is created. So please do not lose hope. Do not think this is the end of times. It is the end of a time. It is the end of what we've always known. But what we are stepping into is everything we have been working towards, and you're ready.